What's happening, Blue Nosies? Match preview time. Cov versus Blues. It's going to be a right game. Let's get into it. What's happening, Blue Nosies? Blues are back. How's it going then, Alf? So let's have a recap on the Swansea performance. I'm not going to talk about too much. This is about Cov and Birmingham. So what's your initial thoughts? How are you feeling after the Swansea game?
I was impressed with the way the lads played that day, especially Patrick Roberts. He looks very bright. I think the way we went forward was great, and we definitely deserved that late goal from Lyndon Dykes all game. I thought it was going to be a struggling game, but overall, we did have more possession, I think, and then we just went forward when we could. It felt like the Newcastle game last season, just constantly going forward and trying to win every ball. So I was impressed with that win.
Yeah, there was more attacking intent, wasn't there? You could see that from the early minutes. I mean, the first 10 minutes, they tried to control the game, and I thought we might be in for a tough afternoon. But we soon got in our stride. They were a little bit disappointing overall. I thought they were going to be more of a threat, but that's probably testament to our lads, doing a good job on them defensively. Definitely gave us better balance having Robinson at the back to protect Cochran a bit more, who I thought had a good game. Going forward, we had more chances, more shots outside the box. We looked quicker on the break, bit more decisive in decision making. So it's good, yeah. And I mean, second half, I think the longer the game was going on, you could see that we were pushing more to get the result and get the win. And fair play to Chris Davies. He got the changes absolutely spot on, didn't he? So
yeah.
Happy to take away the 3 points. Obviously brings us on to Coventry. So we'll go into the details of their team in a moment and past results. What's your initial feeling about the weekend?
A little bit nervous and a little bit excited because I believe if Blues don't turn up, the nervous thing is that Coventry, judging by their results, they can obliterate teams and just smash teams and they score a lot of goals. But I think if Blues turn up and they want to win, I think it can be a good day out. So yeah, they're my initial thoughts.
Yeah, so if we have a look at the head-to-head, so if I just share the screen now, so the head-to-head. Obviously, 3 wins, 4 draws. This is home fixtures, actually. So I've just left this. So it's Coventry at home. So you can see we haven't won for a dog's age. So 2011, I don't think this goes that far back, but I think you've got to go far as 2011 before we've got a result there. So, hopefully that omen is going to be shook come Saturday, because at some point, that winning streak for them against us has got to come to an end. But I agree with you. I mean, they're the highest scoring team in the league at the moment. Yeah, so if we just flick on to SofaScore, in the 6 matches that they've played, obviously they've scored 15 goals. We've only scored 5, so you can see there's a massive difference there. I mean, those first 2 games for them, or the early games, they scored a lot of goals, didn't they? But it seems to have petered off now, and then you can just see on their form. So they've got them 2 wins, and then they've had 3 draws. So they're struggling, to close the games off and get back to scoring ways. So I think it's going to be a really, really even contest looking at this. I mean, they've only conceded, 7 goals. We've only conceded 5. They look a little bit of the possession as well. So they've had 55% of possession this season. We've had 56, and we all know how we like the ball and how we play. I was looking at some interviews with Frank Lampard, and he was saying that he likes to play in the opposition half. The fullbacks, he likes the fullbacks to get forward. So, there's that attacking intent. It's similar to what we said about Stoke, really. So when they get forward in numbers. So looking at their top players and the ones to watch, I think this match is going to be decided who wins the midfield battle, because their midfield is really, really strong. So you've got Matt Grimes, playmaking midfielder, makes everything tick over, similar to what we've got with, kind of Doyle and Awata. Jack Redoni is predominantly in their number 10, very dangerous, likes to get in on the action with the goals. Victor Torp as well, very consistent with his stats. And you can only see so far on his SOFA ratings, the ratings, are through the roof already, aren't they? Brandon Thomas Asante, should we mention him? Obviously, he's there and going to be a bit of a threat down that left-hand side. So if we flick into the kind of the formations, they're very, very similar. I mean, they've got us here on SofaScore as a 4-4-1-1, but it's not, is it? It's a 4-2-3-1. So their back four, is very solid. Their goalkeeper in Rushworth, the young lad, I think he's on loan from Brighton. I think he had the game of his life against Leicester, looking at their highlights. So, he's in good form. The back four, very consistent, very solid. I think every one of their players at the back is over 7, in the ratings. And then you got to say, you go into that midfield, which, they've got pace down either wing with Sakamoto, Thomas Asante on the left-hand side, Redoni feeding right. And obviously Wright's the top goal scorer so far in the league. Very, very dangerous. But he can go missing in games as well. So, but, if you've got a striker on the pitch, you can be quiet all game. The only thing that matters is putting that ball in the back of the net, and that can take 10 seconds, can't it, at the end of the day? So let's flick back onto SofaScore. So so they've got obviously featured players here. So they've got Thomas at the back, comparing him to Robinson. I think Robinson was man of the match for us, wasn't he? Last week. So very solid. So all in all, very, very it's going to be very close. We're very, very similar in terms of the way we set up, but I do think it's going to be about that midfield battle. So what about you, Alf?
Oh, I just think in this game, as we spoke about, Haji Wright in the Swansea preview about heat maps and all that stuff, he's going to be in the box. So whether if it's Neumann and Clara or Robinson and Clara, they need to get tight on Haji Wright, because as by his heat map, he's always on the penalty spot waiting for the ball to come in. And with Coventry's fast wingers, you can just imagine there's going to be a lot of crosses for Haji Wright.
Yeah, and let's be honest, Coventry have had a kind of a solid few seasons. They're a good championship side. Mark Robbins brought them up from League Two, got them promoted, almost touching distance with the Premier League. And then obviously Coventry were really, really unlucky last season not to get to the playoff final. And I don't think they've lost any of those players. I think they've just kept they've kept the strength, which is testament to the club. I think it's been a club on the up. I think they own the ground now as well. So fair play to them, because obviously they shared ours for a time, didn't they? Not going to mention the ticket prices. Coventry. If you've got any fans, watching this, fair play to them. If that's what they want to charge, if that's still getting bums on seats and you're getting that revenue into the club, and if fans are prepared to pay those kind of prices, then fair play. But it looks like Cover on the way up. I think for me, will they get into the top 2? Not sure. I think they'll be around the playoffs for definitely, from what we've seen so far from the teams. But in this bonkers league, anybody can beat anybody, and the early fixtures that we've seen so far this season, have proven that, haven't they? Everyone can beat anybody. So let's flick on to your 11, Alf. So, right. So we go on to your 11 then, Alf. So if you want to, I'll talk through it actually. So obviously you've gone with Allsop in goal.
Yeah.
Interestingly, you have gone with Cochrane at left back. Now, at the time of this recording, there was a bit of doubt whether he would be fit because of the head injury, because they have got a concussion protocol that they have to go through.
Okay.
But I did see Chris Davis's interview, and Cochrane is available. So whether he starts or not is a different thing, but he's definitely available to be selected. You've gone with Clara and Neumann.
Yeah.
And then Samuel at right back. So do you want to explain that, because there's no Robinson?
Well, I think with Neumann and Clara, just in the summer, the club were saying that they were going to try and bring more of that height and physicality in. So I feel like putting them two at the back are just like the target men for corners. But I've got nothing against Robinson. I just think Neumann would have figured more because of his pace, particularly down that right. But I think he should get a go at left centre back, because I think he just needs to go there comfortable. But I completely back Davis if he wants to put Robinson there. Like, I back what he does, because he's effectively taking the club up, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, we've got to trust, we've got to trust Davis. I think it's a good point about his pace. Surely they would see in training if he can play on that left-hand side. Do you know what I mean? But if he's all right-footed and he's not comfortable, then I don't think they're going to risk it, because playing out from the back, you've got to be comfortable, on that side, haven't you? So, and you've gone with Samuel ahead of Laird again, even though Laird was great coming on as an impact sub towards the end. Is that your thinking with right back still?
Yeah, because like I said, when we were at the Swansea game, I said that Samuel was one of the most improved players. He was getting up and down, showing us the skills that he can do, and just showing us the Asai Samuel that we saw on his highlight reel.
Yeah, I thought first half he definitely showed intent to get forward, and we were quite excited by that, because that's very similar to his highlights. I did think he got caught out a little bit, maybe diving in a little bit too much, like Cochrane was doing. So I think against these wingers, I think we need to be mindful of that.
Yeah.
So you've gone with Doyle and Iwata in midfield. So no Paik, and that's the second week you've chose this midfield now. So still not fancying Paik?
No, it's not that I don't fancy Paik, and he could very well start. But like me and you have discussed before, we said that we didn't think Paik and Iwata could play in the midfield anymore, because they're too similar of players, like sideways and backwards. And I think Tommy Doyle, watching his highlights and just things around the club and stuff, and just a bit against Stoke when we lost, I think he's the man that wants to take the ball forward, because obviously he's played in the Premier League, so he would have been around players that have been able to play the ball quick. So I think him in there, he'll be able to take us forward.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. I think we needed something different, and I think we needed more creation with kind of chances and stuff like that. And there's no question, Paik's a quality player, Doyle's a quality player. I mean, we're spoilt with riches of good players at the moment. It's a real tough choice when everybody's fit for Chris Davis. We have got 3 games coming up, all in a short period. So, I think there's going to be a lot of rotation. I think we'll go quite strong for Coventry. May start resting a few for the Wednesday match and swapping and changing. But I do understand your points there. You've gone with Gray on the left, and obviously Roberts comes in on the right hand side. Obviously Kumas was on the left and Gray was on the right against Swansea, which I didn't predict. But it's obviously Kumas must be more comfortable playing on that left-hand side than he is on the right-hand side, maybe. So, yeah, is it Roberts because of the impact that he had when he came on? Obviously, got the assist for Dykes' late winner.
I think it's that as well. His impact against Swansea, because he looked very creative. He looked like he just constantly wanted to go forward every time he was receiving the ball. He was going to the byline, cutting in on his left, crossing it. And I think I like him because he's left-footed and he's a right winger. It makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. You've gone with Stano in the 10 and Kyogo up front instead of obviously Dutch and Stano. So what you thinking there? Because I thought Dutch looked quite promising, to be honest.
Well, I've put Dutch as like a late player like Dykes because they have the same sort of height, you could say. So I think Dutch will start obviously some games this season because of like the player that he is. But I think for me, he's more of a player that comes on in like the 60th minute to like hold the ball up for Stansfield or Gray to run through. And then I've put Kyogo up top because I've saw a lot of things on like social media and YouTube recently of just like people posting about him, and a lot of people have been backing him to still light up the championship because people are talking about how he looked against Swansea, how he's just looking different. He's receiving the ball, running with it, using his skills, and even having some shots. He just needs to stop scuffing. And once he gets one proper good goal, I think that'll boost his confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I put in that short that I just released it. Neither, I think he's growing and growing in confidence, and every time we see him, I think he needs to stop snatching at chances. I think, like a lot of Celtic fans, have commented on the TikTok video that we put out. They still love him, and they said, give him time. He's going to rip the league apart. He's going to score a bag full of goals. Just needs the confidence. A little bit rusty still. Play to his strengths, which I think, going back to the Cov mentality, if they're coming at us and they want to play in our half and they're going to press high, I think we can get in and behind them, maybe flick that pass into a direct one, get him over the top, get him on the shoulder of the defence, and maybe he can show us what he's all about. So let me flick into mine then. Right, so this is my lineup. So you'll see that it's very, very familiar. So I've pretty much gone with the Swansea lineup. I have gone with a couple of changes, and you'll notice that's on the right-hand side. So Laird comes in for me. I think, as Samuel's played every game so far, probably due a bit of a rest with the other fixtures coming up as well. And I think Laird has done more than enough, to ask for a start. But interested in Chris Davis's interview, he calls them starters and finishers. So, we do need strong players on the pitch to finish a game because arguably, like he said, the last 20 minutes in a game,
it's the most
is most difficult and most challenging and productive, where goals come from, goals concede. So it is very important to have some strong players coming on. So, but yeah, I think Laird there just because of the pace, really. And then Roberts, because Roberts showed bags of potential. We've seen little glimpses of him. He looks class, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean? So if we can get that early service, into Dutch and Stano, and I've gone with them too, just because they're very interchangeable, because they can both go up front, both go in the 10. Do you know what I mean? So it gives a different dynamic, and it's probably difficult for their defence to mark if they keep coming out and going into the little pockets. And obviously Gray. Gray's proving me wrong because, like I say, he's getting better and better. You see little glimpses of little cameo roles on the pitch where he's doing a little bit of magic in his touch, and he's megging people and he's getting us excited. So again, I think he's growing into the side, growing into the squad. So obviously me and you, Alf, we have our kind of little head-to-head predictor, which is based on the 11, the amount of players that we get right, and also
goals and
the closest score prediction. So currently, just to update you, there we go. So it's 3-3. So that took longer than it actually did to get the actual score to come out of my mouth. But basically, yeah, it's 3-3. So all to play for. And at the end of the season, one of us will be doing a forfeit, whoever loses. So we look forward to that one. Right then. So prediction then, Alf, for Saturday's game?
1-1.
1-1. So I've actually gone the same. So I'm going to go 1-1 as well. I've heard a lot of other people saying it's going to be 1-1. I think it's definitely going to be a scoring draw. It could even be, exciting as 2-2. Not sure, if we can put 2 past them. But I definitely see it being really tight. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
And obviously, we're dead excited because it's mine and Alfie's first away trip. So we've been fortunate enough to be to get tickets. So we're dead excited about that. So we'll definitely do an away day vlog. So look out for that. Like always, guys, if you like what we're doing, you like the content, smash the like. If you haven't already subscribed, please do that. It's free and it just helps out the channel, doesn't it? It makes it grow and gets it out there to more and more viewers. And ultimately, up the Blues and keep right on. And we'll see you next time.